being away for so long. Adding the magazine into the mix really just something had to give. So videos kind of got set aside for a little while. But I think I've finally got things in a balance that we can handle. So I wanted to show you what my current planning setup is. I've moved up into a personal size. I was in a pocket size. I was just rotating my pocket size covers from Chic Sparrow. So it's like a field note size, a 3.5 by 5.5. I think I've been in, for like my carry it around everywhere type of planning, I think I've been in the pocket size since June, if I'm remembering correctly. It feels like forever ago now. I do still have, you know, my Malden and my Vanderspec that I swap out depending on what I feel like using. That's got a bunch of work stuff, you know, in my ring bound type planner that generally stays on my desk. But here's what I'm using for my everyday planning. I have a bunch of stuff in here. It's personal size. This is Pemberley in Honey from Chic Sparrow. November 1st, this Pemberley leather will be available as part of her fall collection. I believe the date's November 1st. Please don't hold it to me, you know, hold me to it if I'm wrong. Check her website, okay? I don't know that it's gonna be available in this color though, okay guys? This was a prototype, so I just want to make sure I'm clear about that. But it is a personal size. If you are at all interested in the Pemberley leather, little aside here, this leather is a fantastic combination of both flexibility and structure, if that makes any sense. It's not as floppy as, say, like the Outlander leather, if you have one of those. It's definitely thicker than the Outlander leather, not too thick by any stretch. And it's not as structured as, say, like a Storyteller, if you have one of those from When Jennifer Carried Storyteller, or American Dream maybe. This is not quite that structured. It is a really great middle of the road as far as structure and flexibility being balanced is concerned. I love this leather. I did a video on this. I think I showed it to you guys empty quite a little stretch ago. That was like in August. But it really is a nice combination. It's not too structured. It's not too floppy. If I'm remembering correctly, it is the Mr. Darcy leather. It's the same leather as the Mr. Darcy notebooks, but it has been like treated and I don't know what to it to give it all of that texture. And look at the like the color variation in there. And like I said, I've been carrying this for a little while, so it's a little bit darker than it was originally. But it's great. It molds right around my inserts, no problem, but it's not like super floppy either. So this is a deluxe, so it has pockets in the front and the back. So I'm going to show you guys what's inside there just to give you a heads up so you know what's coming. I have inserts in here from AnniePlansPrintables, DIYFish, Marsia, Bramucci, all on Etsy. The covers for my notebooks are all digital downloads, like digital scrapbook paper, also from Etsy. I'll link everything down below because once I get going, I already recorded the body of this. I did it just now. Played with Liam for a little bit, got him settled down doing something else. Now I'm gonna do this part. But I know that during the body of that, I couldn't remember the names of the shops where I'd gotten everything from. So I will link everything down below. And I think that is it. So I'm gonna show you guys what's going on in here, which I already just did, but time travel. If you have questions, give me a holler and let me know. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. Okay guys, so here is what is going on in my October setup. I've been flipping back and forth a lot between setups. I'm recording this a little bit differently. I'm trying to get where I can reach everything and everything is in frame. And we're gonna hope my nose doesn't run the whole time. We're at the tail end of ragweed season, you guys. We're almost there. So, personal size. Chic Sparrow, Pemberley, and Honey. So I went up to the personal size because the it's that time of year again. School has started. We're well into that routine. No problem there. However, it's that time of year again for Mike. Hockey season has started, so I take over doing the clinic schedule for him. I needed to make room for that and just making room for the magazine, just kind of adjusting my own routine to accommodate, you know, time for the magazine because I'm still not giving that as much time as I would really like to. So personal size, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff in here, you guys. And my phone is ringing. Sorry, Mike. It's Mike, and if I turn this off now, I'm never going to get to finish recording because Liam's actually being somewhat quiet. So in the pockets in the front, I have my driver's license, debit cards, cash back here. This is the gold part that you see is a vinyl decal from Analog Stationers. Annika sent that and it's so pretty. I wanted to be able to move it around. I didn't want to like put it in one place and then have to always keep it there. So what I did was I put it on, if I can get a hold of it, I put it on a piece of clear plastic so that I can move it around. I can leave it plain. These, I will put the links for everything down below. These are like autumn decorations. They were a digital download on Etsy, and I knew I was gonna do this off the top of my head. I cannot remember where they are from. I will probably forget the names of almost all of the digital downloads, but I will link everything down below, okay guys? So I can change the background on this. And then this is just inside of some Tim Holtz pockets that I cut up and wrapped around the first book like so. So here's the second half of it. So I have 2 extra pockets. That's a digital download from that same one as this. And then on the other side of that I have a fall sampler from Analog Stationers as well, and there's another of those digital downloads behind it. This is some of that clear, I don't want to say vellum, acetate with gold writing on it. I found that at Michael's. You guys have seen before, I usually have the white writing. It's the same exact writing, it's just in gold instead. This digital paper was in a kit that is really, really cute. It is a whole bunch of different autumn, you know, fall colored plaids. There are, I believe, 2 different knit patterns. They're really, really cute. My printer doesn't like to print the knit ones because they're kind of a cream. They're nearly like white, and I always get lines. I'm arguing with my printer right now. So in the first book, this is all stuff for the magazine that is not like scheduling, and that'll make more sense when I get here. Oh, poor Mike. Mike is calling again. I'm gonna answer the phone because he's at the rink and I want to see what he wants. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Had to answer the phone. I always feel bad when he calls and he's at the rink. He's been gone so much. I always feel bad if I don't answer it when he calls. Okay, so the first book is I want to get back on my train of thought here. This is, let me explain the first book by explaining the second book, if that makes any sense whatsoever. This is where I do each issue for the magazine. So I have the months tabbed by the issue month, okay? So this is all like scheduling what articles are going in each issue, you know, who I've gotten in touch with, who I've heard back from, stuff like that, like planning each individual issue. This is all the other stuff that goes with the magazine. So this is like my list of submissions. This I had in my field notes and I just moved it over. I want to get the personal size of this actually. This is from AnniePlansPrintables on Etsy, who has fantastic inserts, you guys. This is just the list insert, so it's just like that. Super simple, you know, room for a title at the top, bullets down the side. I like the spacing between the lines. So as I get submissions, so I have a couple pages in here that say August. All the submissions that I got in August are on there. I have another, you know, the next couple pages are September. So as I put those submissions in the magazine, I can just cross them off. So this way it's separate from everything else. And then in here I just have, like I usually have for anything else, you know, a big list. So that's just the stuff that needs to get done, and I just cross it off as I get it done. And what else? And then a section for the resources page that I'm working on. I'm working on making the resources page of the magazine like a filterable database, so that's why the resources page isn't up yet. I'm still working on getting that to work the way I want it to work. Some vellum from Tim Holtz. And then this is a card to go in some of those pockets from Tim Holtz. And I just have that stuck into a Target dollar spot sticky pocket that I stuck on the inside of that. So that is the first book. Now, I told you guys about the second book. This is where I work out all of the issues of the magazine. So let me go back to, so like this says December, but I have the January tab on it. That's because in December, I will be putting together the January issue. So I have, these tabs are by the issue, not, but this is the month that I'm working on that particular issue. These are DIYFish. I'm going to get this wrong. I want to say it's DS5. Again, I will link it down below. This is 2 days per page. So the way I'm using this, oh, and then I printed out the monthly calendar from my version 2.2 and just tucked them in for each month as well. So I use this like, let me show you. Okay, we'll stick with December. I use this like this. So if I have anything come up that I want to put into the December issue, say last month or this month, or next month, you know, it just goes on a sticky note in here somewhere. Okay, just so I have it. I don't need to think about it right now if it's going into like the January issue or the December issue. If I find something online and I'm like, ooh, that is really cool, I wonder if they'd like to put that in the magazine. If I contact somebody, you know, send them an email or whatever, I just write it on the month calendar. Contacted so-and-so, you know, confirmed so-and-so, whatever. So I just have a record of who I got in touch with when. This over here I'm really not using yet except for to hold on to those post-it notes. And then usually what I use is those, like the post-it, they're like a page flag. Let me grab one. I am recording on the floor next to my desk. My feet are falling asleep. I use these and I usually write the person's name and then the name of the article. And then those go, come on fingers. Those go, you'll see that the dates here are all goofy. I'm not using the dates in the daily pages. These go over this. So I have this entire box all laid out already, everything that pertains to this article. So if there's edits I made, you know, did the edits get okayed? Do I have a featured image? Do I have all the media that needs to go with it? Do I have all of the SEO done for that particular post? All of that good stuff. So I'm not using these as dated pages. I'm using these to work on each article. And what I was doing, I had this all like laid out by hand. And this was just easier. It's printed, it's done. I have everything set up that I need to get through the January issue, no problem. So that is what's going on in there. The next book, this is really kind of the meat of the whole thing. I'm really sincerely trying to sit so you don't have to look at my leg. There we go. This is, I have it labeled this month. Again, these are also prints that I got, tags, autumn tags that I got on Etsy. I'll link those down there. This is kind of the guts of the whole planner. This is DIYFish version 2.2 in personal size. The only thing I am not using out of that set is the weekly chart. Because I'm using other space to serve the same exact purpose. I had it in here and I took it out. Because I'm doing this in a bound, you know, in a traveler's notebook, I taped in my weekly foldouts. So let me take you to, say, last week. I have my weeks tabbed at the top, right there, like I usually do. It just makes it quicker to get from week to week. The monthly foldout, I'm using, as you guys have seen me use before. So this is a vertical. I love having my vertical monthly calendar back. Oh my gosh. I did not realize I'd gotten so attached to a vertical monthly calendar. And side note, FYI, Marsia Bramucci on Etsy has also put out, I believe it starts in 2017, I might have that wrong, but she has put out vertical monthly, like 2 pages, a month on 2 pages. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think those are available for 2017. So I am sincerely trying to be comfortable and not have my feet, hello knee. Sorry guys. Okay. Can you tell it's been ages since I recorded? This is the best light I have in the house today. It's kind of cloudy, so we're gonna make do. So all I have on here is the little dots are from AnniePlansPrintables Brown Designs, and I have a color for each kid in the house. The only color, yeah, a color for each kid. I don't have a color for Mike. I just use red ink for Mike. So I don't even put their initials on here. Light blue tends to be Liam, green tends to be Hunter. Everybody has their own color. So I write their stuff in color. If there's anything I'm not sure about, I write it in pencil. All of the red stuff is Mike, home games and away games and travel and whatnot. This I use for bills, so I do that all in one color ink. And because this is a vertical calendar, this whole row is Monday, this whole row is Tuesday, and they have the days on here. So I just write the date. So which Monday? The 3rd, and then who it's to and how much it's for. This list here is generally stuff I have to do that is not date sensitive. So everybody's due to have checkups at the dentist, so I need to schedule those. Hunter and Jack need new school pants, so I need to do that. Those aren't things that are date sensitive. This column is the stuff that I put the date sensitive stuff for the month in. Okay, and then instead of the weekly chart, I'm just using this. You have this blank page next to that. That's my monthly. This is the list of kind of my stuff that needs to be done. Yes, this is stuff I will go do. Yes, this is stuff I will take care of, but this is my stuff, meaning YouTube videos I want to get done, stuff I want to get done for the magazine, stuff like that. So that's my stuff. Work stuff like that. And then my monthly chart on the back of that, I'm really kind of trying to get back into the habit of using the monthly chart. So again, color coded, pink stuff is all YouTube, blog, navy blue is all the magazine. And then down here is, I've been trying to get better about doing yoga every day. Obviously I haven't been, you know, getting a walk in. Liam loves to go for walks, which is great. I will take that kid for a walk, you know, forever. And then as usual, I just have a book dart pointing at, incorrectly, pointing at the current week because it's a vertical. This is the current week. Okay. So from there, you then go into your weeks, which somewhere, I know where my week starts, right? I have tabs. So here, let's look at last week. So this is where I got rid of, I did not put the weekly chart in. Like I said, I had it in, I tipped it in on the edge of the Monday daily page. I had it tipped in right here. So when I was looking at my day, my weekly chart would flip out right here. But I really wasn't using it because there's so much space in here that if I utilize it properly, I didn't even need that weekly chart. The back of that weekly chart has another, kind of another layout like this. And I wasn't using that either. A lot of people, you can use that for meal planning. It has like this on one side and then a checklist on the other side. I just do that here. My whole grocery list goes here for the week. So I have one spot. You know, I try to do one big grocery shopping trip a week. Here is how the week looks. And again, we are back to the wonderful brilliance of DIYFish that I can fold out my monthly. My week lines right up. There are all my Mondays, there are all my Tuesdays, there are all my Wednesdays. So on Saturday or Sunday when I'm looking at the upcoming week, I can just fold this out, flip open my week, and boom, I'm done. So that is where I put the weekly schedule. I mark paydays, I mark you know, where Mike is when. I pull all of that from the monthly. And then this page I have been dividing in half, and anything that's going on project-wise that I need a little more detail for, I find that with the magazine especially. I need a little more detail sometimes in the tasks. Stuff that I'm waiting for goes here. Not even necessarily magazine projects, but work stuff, other, you know, like YouTube kind of stuff. That all writing stuff, it can go here. I use this for kind of a project page that I can have a little more detail. So I pull this, if it's magazine stuff, it comes from this booklet up here. If it's YouTube and blog stuff, I have a list in my field note size that I work from for that, or, you know, have been lately at least. I know it's been a long time since I got a video done. I had to kind of adjust to having the magazine added to the schedule. And then this is what I'm using in lieu of the monthly or the weekly chart. I'm just making a big list right here. I don't do a ton of weekly tracking, and when I do it on the daily pages. I don't need a chart per se. I just need a big list for the week. So that is what that is serving for. And then when you get into the dailies, again, 2 pages per day. I so missed my 2 pages per day. I love just having my book open for the day, everything I need. You know, I'm not looking at 2 different days. I don't know. Generally, that doesn't bother me. Right now, my brain wants a full spread per day. Am I using all of the space? Not every day. No. But for some reason, it's making my brain happy right now, so I'm going to go with it. So again, because of that weekly fold out, I can flip this open. I can see what the schedule is for the day. Right here, this is the timed section. And this I am using to track. I split it up. So this was yoga, this was walk, this was my water. So I just used this bar. I never label this bar. In my head, it always pertained to like the task list down here, but I flipped it around. and I'm using it to track stuff here. So that's why I'm not really doing weekly tracking, because I have it all on the days. And then if I, you know, at the end of the week when I do my weekly review, I fill that in on the monthly chart, just so I get kind of a big picture of how I'm doing across, you know, several weeks. And then this is just the task list. Sometimes I put tasks down here, sometimes I put them over here. Totally depends. I've been using this box for kind of a big event for the day. Not that it's necessarily an all-day thing, but like Liam had his checkup that day, so I needed to put that in there. You know, I write it over here, but sometimes things do get lost. So if there is something big going on or something big that I have to remember to do on a certain day, I just put it up there instead of in the task list or over here. This tends to fill up as the day goes on, depending on what's going on in that particular day. And then the tabs are, again, my semicolon tabs that I got on Amazon. I know I've told you guys 100 times, you know, they're there and then they're not. So if you're looking for these, the semicolon ones are the ones that I have. There are several tab, you know, sets on there. I like these. I haven't used any of the others, but I like these because I have reused these things a gazillion times, you guys. And I just, if I make a note, like these red stripy ones, these are actually Post-it tabs. I only had a couple stuck in here. They usually go right here, but I used them. This is stuff for the clinic that I either haven't migrated yet, I haven't taken care of yet. I have a book back here for the clinic. I'll show you that. Navy blue is for the magazine again. If there's any of this, this pink right here, that's like my stuff. Then the boys each have a color in here. So I have it all color coded. It's just like I've always told you guys, it's the color that just pops into my head is the color that goes with something. So I put in, so I just kind of, as my day goes, like see here Saturday, I hardly touched it. Like Clayton was home from school for the weekend and had a lot of running to do and had volunteer work that he was doing. So it was just a lot of shuffling of people and cars on Saturday. So that was all I did. You know, hockey games I have marked on here on the schedule. I've been putting any money that I spent on that day over here. Oh, that is what's going on there. I am loving having a full spread back for my day. If I'll keep it, I don't know. We're not quite halfway through October yet, so I'm going to use it for October and just see. I may go back to a day per page, but this is really, really making my brain happy right now. So stick with what makes your brain happy, right? So that is what's going on in there. And it is pretty chunky thick. I'm not gonna lie. It's the guts of the planner, obviously, because it is really thick. I have that covered again with another piece of that acetate. This is the clinic book. I am using AnniePlansPrintables, personal size. Again, she's on Etsy. This is the October, November, December week on 2 pages. The great thing about this, let me go to December. The great thing about this is I can see, let me start over. I have all of this information on my monthly calendar, okay? I have home games, away games, travel, all of his stuff on my monthly calendar. However, it is amongst everybody else's stuff, right? So I need to be able to just see his schedule. And sometimes, you know, if Liam is trying to talk to me and I'm on the phone trying to get somebody scheduled, and if it's a month like it usually is during the school year, during hockey season around here, that monthly calendar gets very full. I want to be able to just look at the information I need very quickly. The only thing I really, really need to do that for is the clinic. So I have home games, away games, and his clinic times marked on here, and that is it. Okay, so with AnniePlansPrintables, you get your monthly calendar, okay? And then you get your, do I have anything written on here yet? Nope. Then your monthly chart. And then this I really haven't used so far. October is the first month that I'm doing the schedule for him again since last season. And it's the first month that I'm using this insert for it. So right now I'm not using this. I have a couple of ideas though. I've got a lot of the clinic stuff in a ring bound in my, I move it back and forth between my Malden and my Vanderspec that just kind of stays on my desk. I may put some of that in here so I have things a little more consolidated, but it's kind of adding work and there's not a lot of time for that right now. And then week on 2 pages, it starts with the notes section. Monday start for the week. FYI, the month calendar is a Sunday start, just so you know that. I usually do cover up because I like a Monday start. I generally just cover this column up, that's the Sunday column, with, you know, some decorative paper or some washi tape if I have wide enough washi tape. I'll generally cover that column up and change this notes column or bills column to Sunday, so it's Saturday, Sunday, I just extend these lines across and move those dates over to here. So this is covered up. I have a Monday start that runs through Sunday. Just an FYI. The weeks, however, do start on a Monday. So you've got a notes section up here. So anybody, you know, that Mike says, hey, so-and-so texted me, really needs to get in. Yes, that will go on my daily page. Don't get me wrong, because I want to make sure I get it done. But I will, you know, put it over here, you know, so-and-so text request, whatever, just so we're on the same page, Mike and I. And then I just write in his schedule. I put the times in ink. I put patients' names in pencil. So that is from AnniePlansPrintables. The next book is a very, very thin list book, super thin. I think I may have 10 pages in here maybe. I have a very comprehensive list book that is, here, let me grab it. It's the upside to filming next to my desk. Right now, I keep flipping this back and forth. It just depends on what I feel like looking at any given day. This is my field note size, pocket size, Mr. Darcy and Toffee from Chic Sparrow. I love the markings on this thing. I love all the little light spots. Oh. Anyway, I have a very comprehensive list book in here because I was carrying it for months. So I did not migrate everything that was in this list book into here because I didn't feel it was necessary. I only migrated what I knew I would want to have with me. There's like a list of YouTube videos in here that I need to get done, stuff that I'm waiting for to do YouTube videos, some writing stuff in here, and then my wallet ice is in here as well. So the phone numbers for like the debit card, the insurance numbers, and then everybody's like the important phone numbers, like, you know, Mike, the boys' phone numbers, my mom and dad, my grandma and grandpa, the pediatrician, the dentist office. That's really all I have in here right now. And then I have, you know, a couple of spare pages to add to. And then folder from Annika Hanby, again, personal size. And you guys know my favorite forward planning calendar in the world, which I have very, very full. Can I get to a blank month? This is personal size from Marsia Bramucci, horizontal. If I'm remembering correctly, the file comes with both month on one page and month on two pages. In the field note size, in this size, I like having the month on two pages just because it's a smaller page. I like having it go, you know, all the way across. You can get so much information on a full spread with a line for each day across the full spread. In the personal size, I was finding I didn't need it to be a month on two pages, so I printed out the month on one page instead. If I'm remembering correctly, and I may be wrong, so don't hold me to this, you guys, both the month on one page horizontal and the month on two pages and horizontal come in one download from Marsia Bramucci on Etsy. Okay, so here, you know, if it's forward planning, I slap a Post-it note on here. I have the bills marked on here, just general. A lot of times what I do in here is in pencil because stuff gets changed. Obviously stuff moves, so I do a lot in pencil. Stuff that absolutely will not move, like FAFSA opened October 1st for the 27-2018 school year. That date's not going to change. You know, that is something set in stone. I put it in pen in the right color so that I remember it. You know, Hunter's homecoming dance, but you know, stuff that I schedule in advance, doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, haircuts. There's so many of us, I feel like we're always getting haircuts, but hi, Jessica. You know, anything like that, I put in pencil so that if it needs to be moved, I can move it. And then this I had in my field note size, and I just pulled it out and moved it over here. This is a yearly fold out, also from AnniePlansPrintables. Okay, and I got it in July. So it starts in July. This is great because it's the second half of 2016 and all of 2017. So if you guys want, I can do a separate video on this. It's not, there we go, I pulled it out. All I did was I had it washi in the same exact spot behind my, horizontal month on two pages from Marsia Bramucci. I had this washied into the back, so I just pulled the washi off and I just tuck it in behind that same calendar in there. I didn't feel the need to upsize it and recopy everything. I have it on here color coded. It's done. The boxes are big enough. I can see what I'm doing. Yes, part of me totally wanted to get the personal size and go ahead and upsize it a little bit, but honestly right now there's so much going on that the thought of recopying all this makes my brain hurt a little bit. So if you guys want, I can do a separate video on this. I do this almost exactly the same way that I was using my yearly pull out from DIYFish. Everything is color coded. So light blue is stuff for the boys. Yellow is, what is yellow? Yellow is Clayton because he is away at school, but like I said, he's like an hour's drive away. So days that I know he is coming home to do volunteer work, which is only, you know, once every couple of weeks right now. He got a lot of it done early before he left for school. Mike's home games, away games, travel, that's all in red. Orange is holidays. And I think that is everything. So the reason I love this is the boxes are big enough. So let's say, yeah, that would be Thanksgiving. So here is, upside down. Here is Thanksgiving. So I have these 3 boxes. Well, first of all, the orange, that's Thanksgiving Day, okay? So I just kind of lightly shaded in orange, that's Thanksgiving Day. The yellow is that Clayton is off of school. It's hard to see on camera, but in light blue, I just have NS, NS, NS written right over the date. It's a light enough blue, you guys can kind of see the light blue here, that I can write right on top of the date and I can still totally see the date through it, no problem. And then the little triangles of red indicate home games and away games for Mike. So, so I can get the fact that this is a holiday, the fact that Clayton will be home these 3 days, the fact that the other boys don't have school these 3 days, and the fact that Mike has games these days, all into there with very little effort. And I can look at it and know right away what it is. And I love that. So that is forward planning for the entire year as far as, you know, what is set in stone as far as schedules. I don't put doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, you know, any of that other appointment-y type stuff. Jack's band concerts, anything like that. I tend to not put that on here. That goes into here. That goes into here. So that is it, you guys. That is how the planning is going right now. Moving up to the personal size was definitely a must. Throwing in those extra things just was enough to push it over the edge. If you have any questions, holler and let me know. Okay, thanks so much, guys.